Hello everyone, it's Kari here again with you today. I'm excited to share a sneak peek at a couple of products coming real soon to Missing Stamps. This is going to be gorgeous. Now this set is not available until next week, but I am lucky enough to give you a sneak peek. I'm going to be pairing it with this beveled glass stencil that came out last month, and so that one is already available in the shop. But this one here is a layering magnolia die with a beautiful frame. And this is one of my new favorite layering dies. I wanted to show you how easy it is to put together. This is something that I always do when I die cut layering flowers, is I like to dry fit them to make sure I know where everything goes. And look how simple this one was. Now that one, the center piece just stuck right in the die. So I had to help that one release with using my craft pick. But look how easy this is to layer up and so easy to figure out where everything goes as well. And I love that about this set. So I'm going to start by inking these on. I'm using my silicone mat here to try to keep things in place a little bit as I ink on these colors. Now I've chosen some pinks here from my ink stash from Pinkfresh Studio. And I love that there are some layering inks, so these go together really well and you don't even have to think about the colors. So I've decided to use these today, and I'm starting with the lightest color on the largest solid die for this flower. And then I'm going to keep moving down the shades of pink and ink on the next and the next and the next. So there are 4 layers of this flower plus the center piece, which I colored up with yellow. So I'm using some small blending brushes to color up each layer a little bit darker than the last. And I love having a silicone mat to do this coloring. It helps make it really easy. So there's the third piece right there. And then for the last one, I'm using the Raspberry Bliss, which is the darkest pink in the collection that I have. And that's going to go right there on top. And then I'll go ahead and ink those leaves as well. Now the frame, you're going to see on the frame that I do have those center pieces that I left in the die cut. I'm going to pop those out after I do the inking. So you'll see that in a minute. For the leaves, I'm starting with a light green, and then I'm going to bring in a darker blue-green just to ink on one side of those leaves. And that will make them really pop with this magnolia flower. Now this frame can be used with anything you want. You don't have to use it with the magnolia, but look how pretty that's going to be together. And I thought a really dark blue would be gorgeous for this. So I chose a navy blue ink, and I'm just going to ink that on with a blending brush here. And then once I'm done with that, I'll pop out those inside pieces, and you can see how gorgeous this delicate frame is. Look at that. It's so pretty. So that's going to work out really well with the flower. Now to do the inking on the background, I'm starting with a card base here. This is already a folded card base, and I thought I would kind of cheat a step and just ink on the card base, but you're going to see that my card had different ideas for me. So I ended up switching this up a little bit later, but I'm going to show you how to fix certain mistakes that you may make while you're crafting at home as well. I try to make things perfect, and sometimes things don't always turn out perfectly. But I started by inking on a light green ink, the same color I started inking on those leaves, and then I used a blue ink, like a light blue ink at the bottom. So we're going to have kind of a gradient change from green to blue on this background. And I think it's a really soft, beautiful, calming look. This beveled glass stencil is just gorgeous. Look at that. And this is when I'm going to start building up the frame and the magnolia flower and add the leaves. And then all we need is a sentiment. So this is a gorgeous, beautiful, easy card to put together. I am going to start gluing together this flower, and you'll see it's super simple. Even I mean, you could probably do it blindfolded. Well, I don't know, that might be taking a little too far, but it's so simple to put together. You can find easily where everything goes, and I love that. So there's the darker piece, and then we'll add the darkest to the center, and I'm going to pop up the center yellow piece with a little bit of foam tape. I'm going to use my tweezers for this. This takes a little bit of precision here. So a little foam tape on there, and then we'll add that right to the center of the flower. Just like so. Beautiful how that comes together. Now I've also cut out a brand new alpha die set here. This is also another sneak peek, but I love this one. It comes with a frame. I'm going to link it as soon as it's available, but this is a beautiful serif font. I love it so much. It's really easy to read. And all I did was I cut out that alphabet and then I colored in the letters with one of the pinks that I used on the flowers. So we're going to replicate that color in our sentiment, and I'm going to spell out the word breathe here. It's beautiful, calm card. I just love looking at it. So I'm going to get that lined up. I'll use my T-square ruler to line it up, and also my little craft pick here. And I'm trying to get this on as straight as I can using that ruler. Now, if you've seen Miss Ink Stamps' new placement guide stencils, they are awesome. Helps you place different sentiments so perfectly. I do not have a placement guide for this one, but I'm not sure if that'll be coming out too. So if so, I will also link that when it's available. And then all I'm going to do is pick it up with some tape and then add some liquid adhesive, and we'll be able to glue that down. Now, again, it had different ideas for me. The bee jumped right off there, so it was difficult for me to judge where the center was. And then once I got everything on and made sure it was straight, I realized that I did not center this word completely on the panel. So that's a little bit irritating for me. I like it to be centered, but I'm going to show you how to fix it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue down the frame and the flower, centering them on the word and not necessarily the panel, because I'm going to cut down this panel and fix that mistake very easily. It's kind of a shame this had to happen since it was already on that card base, but you know, things happen. This is real life crafting. So I'll add the flower with some foam tape. I added that frame with a little bit of liquid adhesive, and then I'll go ahead and slip those leaves right underneath the flower. Look how beautiful that is. And there we go. And now to fix this, yes, I have to do a little bit of card surgery, but that's okay. We're going to make this right. So I'm just going to cut this panel down right off of that card base. And I'm going to save that piece for later because this is nice, thick cardstock. And then I'm just going to cut it down and try to get that as centered as I can. I'm going to cut around the edges so that I get a frame around this instead of making this straight onto the card base. And this way we'll get a white frame all the way around this panel, which is perfectly okay. Not my first plan, but you know, it's going to work. So I'll just glue that right on top, and that's going to make this a little more centered and a little more perfect. Of course, that bee was a little bit lower as well, but you know, it's almost perfect. I'm just going to add some of these little white beads. These are kind of like bubbles. They look really beautiful. I'll just add that with some liquid adhesive, and that's going to be our card for today. I hope you really enjoyed a sneak peek at this beautiful flower and frame and a new serif font that's going to be coming out with a new frame really soon as well. I enjoyed making this card even though it didn't cooperate with me. There's always a workaround, right? Thanks for stopping by today. I hope we'll see you again soon. Don't forget to keep an eye on the space for the new release coming out next week. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.